Hi, I'm Ev Hales. Welcome to my watercolour demonstration, Creating an Illusion of Depth. We're using hot press paper, looking at base washes, layers, size relationships and overlapping. I'm using hot press paper that has been pre-dampened and a dryish brush to just create soft shapes in the sky. There are no hard edges here, and I'll lift a little back with a tissue for a bit of movement. When it's dry, I'll come and put some layers in for the base of the land, starting with cool layers and then adding some warmth. I'm in no hurry here, adding different colours in bands as I come down towards the foreground. Going back, adding a bit more richness because this will fade when it dries, and I need quite a strong underwash here. When it's dry, I start at the back, in the mountains, adding cool over the cool underwash. Again, I'm not in a hurry here. I'm going to build the layers as I come forward in the landscape, adding touches and horizontal layers to create new levels in depth. Touches here and there for a few trees and things in the landscape, and ensuring to leave a little bit of the underwash in some places. Different levels over the top, and now I'm using a bit of warm over the cool, and this will change as I come into the foreground, building different levels of land across this base warm wash. I keep a wet edge against which I can work, and I plant some trees with a bit of rhythm. The brush is hardly touching, just planting these trees across the landscape in layers. And I'm using the dry edge to put the bushes into a place where they will not bleed down through the layers in the landscape. Breaking the paddocks up some more, leaving the initial wash showing through, and then going back, keeping a bit of water there so it will stay workable without drying with a hard line. I'm going to add some more bushes here, and as they come further in the landscape they will get larger and stronger and warmer in colour. You can see the point of the brush is against the dry edge. This holds the definition in that spot. The top of the bush doesn't matter really. And now I start to overlap one layer over another, which helps with the sensation of space in the landscape. Now a bigger area in the foreground and a brighter green, and you can see where the warmth in the underlayer makes a big difference on how this colour looks. And I'm building a lovely variety in the colours without having to do a lot of work because of that underwash in the first place. Stirring up the foreground a bit for a bit more interest. Adding a few more bushes, a few verticals, fences or something. And some bigger trees that are overlapping all the layers in the landscape. And because those layers have been painted in, the trees sit really nicely in their space. When you start a big bush, you can start it with a blur mark, just like I've done there, covering a larger area and then feathering out the edges to create interest. And making sure that you put a dark to anchor it to the land. Carry those darks across with a few verticals, and then look at the size of the bushes in the rest of the landscape, and maybe those on the right hand side need to be a little larger, and a few darks to accent that area as well. I'm almost there. I have a lovely progression from warm to cool in the landscape, a change in size and scale, overlapping, all of which gives me a sensation of space. I have an ebook on landscapes available at most ebook stores.